12 years after Vasco da Gama became the first European to reach India by sea, the Portuguese commander Afonso de Albuquerque captured the island of Goa. Years after Vasco da Gama became the first European to reach India by sea, the Portuguese commander Afonso de Albuquerque captured the island of Goa for the Portuguese in 1510. Soon thereafter, in 1535, the Sultan of Gujarat ceded the 7 islands of Bombay and the strategic town of Bassein to the Portuguese. This book, the Portuguese Impress, glimpses of the Portuguese possessions of Goa, Bombay and Bassein, through a series of articles written by the author, the late Dr. Teresa Albuquerque, and published in various magazines over the years, examines in extraordinary detail the Portuguese influences in these lands and provides an account of the places through the years. As many of you will know, after Bombay was given away as part of the dowry of Catherine of Braganza and Bassein was ceded to the Marathas, Goa, Daman and Diu remained the sole possessions of the Portuguese in India. Yet, as the author reminds us in her book, the Portuguese influence remains even now. The book tells us how the fortunes of various peoples changed, the ways in which communities migrated in search of better lives, and the remnants of a colonial past that can be experienced till this day. Known to many of you perhaps, the author, Dr. Teresa Albuquerque, of Goan origin, was born in Pune. An author of several books, including one on Rashol and one on the Church of the Archangel Michael in Anjuna, Dr. Albuquerque has, through her micro-historical study, delved into the colonial past of Bombay and Goa with a special emphasis on the Portuguese Impress. Although she unfortunately passed away earlier this year, her scholarship remains for those behind her to examine and emulate, and through which her legacy will surely endure. For today's launch, we have the Most Reverend Felipe Neri Ferrao, Archbishop of Goa and Daman and Patriarch of the East Indies, to address the gathering. He's probably known to almost all of us, but he was born in Aldona, Goa, and was ordained priest in 1979 and Archbishop of Goa and Daman, as also Patriarch ad honorem of the East Indies in 2003.
Ladies and gentlemen, and my dear friends, some time back, I was traveling by train to Bangalore. A young gentleman in his 30s was sitting across me, and we spontaneously got into a conversation. His name was Deepak, and he had come on his first visit to Goa. And he was so enthusiastic about sharing his experience. He was in Goa just for 2 days, and yet he was so enthusiastic. He said, I was so happy to have come to Goa. I almost felt I was out of the country. Goa is so different from the rest of the country. And finally he summed it up by saying, Goa is the beauteous place I have seen. Goa is the beauteous place I have seen. And he added, with beauteous people like you. My dear friends, when Deepak placed me among the beauteous people, I knew he was not referring to my looks. And deep down I felt glad that he saw in me a living confirmation of the beautifulness that he discovered in the people of Goa. This beautifulness or natural charm, we must acknowledge, is not rare. It is captured by most visitors to this state, whether from the rest of the country or from abroad. If you ask me, the special quality that seems to be so characteristic of most Goans is to be attributed to what today's author calls the Portuguese Impress. There is no doubt that 4.5 centuries of an enriching cultural encounter with Portugal made this piece of India and its people so special, so different from the rest of our country. It is very gratifying to see that Teresa Albuquerque not only saw this reality, but wrote about it in a number of her books and in the countless articles that she contributed over the years to historical journals, international seminars and newspapers. Many of those articles form part of this precious book in my hands. Through them, Dr. Albuquerque brings to light the Portuguese impress that exists not only in Goa, but also in other erstwhile Portuguese possessions in India, chiefly in Bombay and in Basin, today Vasai. I was thrilled to discover this cultural well through the eyes of the writer, who besides leading you through the historical journey of some significant communities in India which were impacted by the Portuguese, brings you in contact with the architecture, the cuisine, the music, the dress, the lifestyle, and even a certain attitude that makes these Portuguese impressed communities so unique. I congratulate heartily those who thought that it would be good to sheave these valuable articles into a book form, thus affording us precious glimpses of the Portuguese possessions of Goa, Bombay, and Basin. May this book help us to truly appreciate the rich cultural heritage that is ours, especially if we can trace our roots to Goa, Bombay, Basin, or to any other community that has been positively affected by its encounter with the Portuguese presence in our land. I would also like to formulate a sincere wish that we may have more Teresa Albuquerques to lead us to an ever more intelligent appreciation of our cultural heritage and of our personal and collective responsibility to cherish and preserve it for the future generations. My last word is of deep appreciation for the team behind the Goa Arts and Literature Festival, under whose aegis this book launch is taking place. A felicitous initiative of the International Center Goa, enthusiastically backed by members of the Goa Writers Group and a number of other national and state bodies, and ably supported by the Government of Goa's Department of Art and Culture. The young GALF Festival has emerged as one of the major annual literary festivals in our Indian subcontinent. May it bloom and grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Louise. I now call upon Ivan Arthur, a friend of the author, to say a few words.
This has been sprung on me, but I do it with pleasure. Because Teresa, I'm a great admirer of Teresa and her husband, Matt. In fact, we met 15 years ago when I had just moved from Bombay to Goa. I was walking to church with my wife and I met this wonderful couple on the way to church. And we met and spoke on our way back. And then we invited them over to our place, and they came with a book written by Teresa on the history of the village I was going to live in. is Anjuna. And I sort of leafed through that book and I found it so interesting to know such, little known facts about the village. I fell in love with Anjuna after reading the book. And of course, after that, we went all along the, all over the place in Anjuna to find the places that even Anjunakars wouldn't know, which she had researched and she had put down in a book. A week later, I was invited by Father Ubald, who was the parish priest of Anjuna at that time. He invited me to form part of a panel to discuss what they were going to do for the 400th year anniversary of the church, St. Michael's Church. And he said that he invited me because I belong to this ugly group called advertising, and he said, you've been in advertising. We want to collect advertisements for the church, and this was for a souvenir, and this is the parish council and a lot of nice people were there, and they said yes, we must have a souvenir because we must collect money. So I looked at them, I said, look, you don't go to a person from advertising to collect, because it's like going to a watchmaker shop to know what the time is. So you don't go to an advertising person to collect advertisements. But be that as it may, you shouldn't have a souvenir. I said, look, he says, why? Because, look, every time, so often I've been at sermons, the priest goes on the pulpit and he decries this devil, media. The media is a devil. It puts terrible ideas in people's head. It's devil. Media and advertising is part of media. It's the devil. I said, Father, don't go to the devil for money, even if you need it. He said, no, how can you say that? Everybody there also disagreed. They said, no. I said, look, this is 400 years. We've got to have a history of the place, not a souvenir. There's people who write the history. I said, look, you have a person, you're a very good historian of this place. Her name is Teresa Albuquerque. I said, of course I know Teresa. I said, ask her to do a history of the parish, of this church. Father Ubal was quick to say, wow, he says, that's a good idea, we'll do that. Everybody else said, oh, no, we need money. I said, money you will get. I told them that through this book itself, you can get money. So that book eventually came out. We had sponsors for the book. People people who advertise in souvenirs don't want a return in terms of promotion. They do it out of charities. If it's charity, it won't, it doesn't matter if you come out with a souvenir or a book. So a beautiful book was produced and it was sponsored by people who put good money. Then names came in 10-point type at the back of the book. We were all very happy because the book was beautiful. It was written and researched by Teresa, and Matt took the pictures. I think somebody presented him with a camera at that time. He went around taking pictures, and you should see, I was there with them when they did their research. They went into every corner of the church. They picked out artifacts that were in the go down. Beautiful crosses and really unusual artifacts that they picked out. And it was, in fact, Teresa's dream to use those artifacts, Your Grace, to have a little museum in that church. But somehow I think that didn't happen. But what she did was put together a beautiful, really beautiful book. It is called Under the Archangel's Wings. I happen to write the foreword for it, but you must read this book. You must buy this book. I don't know if it's available here, but Leonard, I think you should make it available. It's a beautiful book and written by Teresa. Teresa's work, you should see the way she works, and I think those who are into, as you call, micro-history should take a leaf from what she has done. She went into every little corner to get her material. I remember we even walked up Chapora Fort. There's an old dilapidated chapel there, and she knew where it was, but her knees were giving way. So it was Matt, my wife and I who went up, and she told us exactly the spot where you could find it. And she was thorough in her work. I'm sure you'll enjoy the book. I think you should go out and get a copy of the book. Not a copy, I think you should buy a number of copies and gift them. And if you can lay your hands on some of the other books that Teresa's written, I think you will enjoy them. If you like history, if you like good writing, because she has a nice, readable style of writing. So I wish to hope all the best, and thank you for really much.
We were lucky to have with us Father Sundar Albuquerque, who is the son of Dr. Teresa Albuquerque. I request Father Sundar to please come forward and do the things.
I am blessed to be a member of the Albuquerque family, a son of Teresa. My mother passed away this June, and this book, I think, is bring back memories of about 30 years that she worked on this. A collection of different stories that she had published in various magazines and periodicals. This book was done with the help, as Ivan said, my father. He's taken the photographs of many of the works, and he was a constant support to my mother in preparing this and the other 12 books that she had prepared. I'd like to say thanks to Your Grace, Archbishop Felipe, Ferrao, for being for him. When I asked whether he would come to release this book, without hesitation, I got an immediate response. When I asked Leonard whether this book would be, we were told this book would be released here at this program of the GALF. And here too we got immediate support, instant support, and I can only say thank you. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you, Vivek, and the organizers, and Your Grace for coming today. A special thanks to Ivan for bringing us together. Thanks a lot. And thank you for being here.